Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is.
Over the years, TikTok has also become the center of stories that shocked viewers, sparked investigations, and left entire communities deeply unsettled. What usually begins as ordinary content can sometimes reveal something far darker hiding beneath the surface. Today we are counting down the 10 most disturbing cases on TikTok, stories that prove the internet is not always as lighthearted as it seems, and that sometimes the most unsettling moments are the ones hiding in plain sight. Elizabeth Teckenbrock became popular by sharing relatable content centered around motherhood, hardship, and resilience. Her videos felt personal and authentic, often portraying emotional moments that resonated deeply with viewers. On one of her TikTok, she posted a video of her making her own birthday cake while her children sang, gaining massive attention and sympathy online. To many viewers, it represented sacrifice and strength. Donations, praise, and support followed almost immediately. But as the video spread across the platform, scrutiny followed just as quickly. The situation changed when a man claiming to be her ex-husband posted a response video challenging the narrative. He revealed custody documents showing he had primary custody of their children and accused Elizabeth of misleading viewers about her life circumstances. TikTok quickly divided into opposing sides, with creators and audiences forming opinions before most facts were verified. What began as emotional storytelling turned into a public investigation carried out by millions of strangers. Elizabeth responded calmly, stating she would never attack the father of her children publicly, while also suggesting he had spent years attempting to damage her reputation. She described herself as someone protecting her children from conflict, yet both sides continued releasing private messages, recordings, and accusations online. The conflict became less about truth and more about perception, with each new video fueling algorithm-driven attention. As independent viewers began researching deeper, court records and past allegations surfaced. Elizabeth had publicly described a previous arrest as a simple financial mistake involving a bounced check during a difficult period in her life. However, documents circulating online suggested multiple financial incidents connected to fraud-related charges that were later handled through legal intervention programs. The difference between how events were described online and how they appeared in official records created growing distrust among viewers. The controversy intensified when older claims resurfaced alleging she had previously collected donations while claiming to suffer from a serious illness. Screenshots from past fundraising efforts, emotional updates, and messages asking for prayers began spreading across social media. Former friends and relatives spoke out, saying the illness story had caused emotional harm within the family. Supporters argued she had struggled mentally during that period, while critics believed it showed a repeated pattern of manipulation. The truth became increasingly difficult to separate from speculation. At the same time, criticism extended to her ex-husband as well. His persistent posting, call logs, and online responses raised concerns about whether both individuals were contributing to a toxic public conflict. Personal disputes that might normally stay private were now permanent digital records viewed by millions. The children involved, though rarely seen directly, became central figures in a narrative neither of them controlled. One of the most confusing moments came when a post briefly appeared. In the post, she accepted responsibility for past actions before it was quickly deleted. Elizabeth later claimed her account had been hacked. For viewers already unsure who to believe, the incident only deepened suspicion and debate. What makes this case especially disturbing is not just the allegations themselves, but how quickly TikTok transformed a personal conflict into mass entertainment. Large creators publicly supported one side without full verification, unintentionally lending credibility that influenced thousands of followers. Sympathy spread faster than facts, and once opinions formed, they rarely changed. In the end, this controversy became a powerful example of how storytelling, emotion, and algorithms can blur reality online. Viewers were not just watching a story unfold, they were participating in it, amplifying it, and shaping outcomes without fully understanding the consequences. And long after the videos stopped trending, the digital footprint remains, reminding everyone how easily viral empathy can turn into viral controversy. Before we continue, I just want to say thank you. Nightmare Feelings crossed over 187,000 subscribers in 2025, and that's all because of you. Every single view, like, and share means the world to me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This year, we're setting our sights on 250,000 before April 2026. So if you enjoyed these videos and haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Hit that button, join the community. Let's grow this together. Now back to the video. What began as ordinary cosplay videos slowly turned into one of the most uncomfortable controversies TikTok had ever seen. Not because of special effects or fictional horror, but because the deeper viewers looked, the stranger the reality behind the account became. Kelly White, known online as HORRIFYING Cosplays, built her presence around anime culture, costume design, and convention life. At first, her content followed a familiar pattern seen across TikTok. She recreated characters from popular series, filmed lighthearted skits, and documented trips to fan conventions. For a while, her page appeared to fit perfectly into that world. But viewers soon noticed details that felt increasingly unusual. One of the first things audiences questioned was the constant appearance of her father in videos. The two frequently performed together, sometimes portraying fictional couples from animated shows. While cosplay often involves acting roles, many viewers felt uneasy about the romantic tone of certain performances between a parent and child. Comments began appearing under videos asking why the dynamic felt so personal rather than purely theatrical. The discomfort grew stronger when people realized her mother was almost never present, despite living in the same home. Older videos resurfaced, showing Harris publicly criticizing her mother's appearance, saying she did not meet the standards required for cosplay participation. The remarks sparked backlash and introduced audiences to a more complicated family picture behind the costumes. The situation escalated years later, when she posted a vlog in late 2024, revealing something that confused even longtime followers. Oris introduced viewers to what she described as her daughters, only for audiences to discover they were lifelike reborn dolls. These dolls, typically used for therapeutic purposes, became central figures in her content. She filmed daily routines with them, took them to restaurants, seated them at tables during meals, and treated them as members of her family. Some viewers saw it as harmless coping or performance art, while others described the videos as deeply unsettling. The contrast between cheerful cosplay content and intensely personal roleplay blurred the line between character and reality. Additional backlash followed allegations that she had shared explicit content online without properly confirming the ages of recipients. While accounts differed regarding intent, the incident raised serious questions about responsibility and online safety. In later interviews, she described her past behavior as immature and admitted that controversy sometimes brought attention, suggesting she believed negative reactions helped maintain visibility online. That explanation only fueled further criticism, as many viewers felt internet attention had been prioritized over good judgment. What makes this case disturbing is not a single viral moment, but the gradual unraveling of an online persona. A creator who appeared to represent creativity and fandom culture was suddenly viewed through a completely different lens once years of digital history resurfaced. TikTok's algorithm played a major role, showing isolated clips without context, allowing new audiences to encounter fragments of controversy without understanding the timeline behind them. This story serves as a reminder that on platforms built around entertainment, the most disturbing cases are often not fictional at all, but real lives unfolding publicly, one upload at a time. Imagine scrolling through TikTok late at night and stumbling onto a man dressed like it is still the peak of 2008, eyeliner heavy, hair styled for a scene kid photo shoot, singing into whatever object happens to be nearby, like it is a microphone on a sold-out tour. At first, Brandon Brutal looked like a harmless time capsule, a little awkward, a little intense, but mostly just someone determined to keep an emo identity alive, long after the trend had moved on. Known online as Black Veil Brandon, the North Carolina creator started gaining real attention around the year 2020. His videos felt frozen in an older era of internet culture, the kind built on dramatic expressions, emotional covers, and motivational speeches about staying true to yourself no matter who laughs. He would perform with full commitment, singing passionately, moving like he was on stage. Brandon often told his audience that people in his hometown judged him non-stop. He claimed rumors were spreading about him in real life, painting him as someone dangerous or inappropriate, and he insisted those rumors had damaged his social life and made relationships almost impossible. Then the tone of the story shifted in the year 2023, when screenshots of private conversations allegedly connected to Brandon began circulating online. The messages suggested he believed he was talking to a minor. That detail changed everything, because it was no longer about cringe content or a misunderstood persona. It became a serious accusation. There were also claims that images of a real minor were used without permission, which added another layer of concern beyond the messages themselves. Public opinion flipped quickly. Brandon denied responsibility, first claiming the screenshots were fake, then suggesting someone else had accessed his account. His responses came through emotional TikTok videos that sounded less like explanations and more like panic, as if he was trying to outrun the narrative as it spread. As attention intensified, people from his local area began speaking up online. One woman tied to the emo community said Brandon had pursued her persistently despite her lack of interest, describing interactions that made her uncomfortable. When her name appeared in discussions, she publicly distanced herself. For many viewers, this made Brandon's earlier claims about rumors feel different. Some started to wonder if what he called gossip was actually people warning others, or at least reacting to behavior they did not trust. At the same time, Brandon's personal life looked increasingly unstable. He lived with his father, and their relationship sometimes spilled into live streams. Arguments played out publicly, with visible tension and frustration. In one controversial moment, Brandon filmed the poor condition of his father's room and shared it online, which many viewers saw as humiliating rather than helpful. It suggested deeper struggles behind the scenes that the internet could not fix with comments or views. Law enforcement became involved again, after additional incidents linked to his online activity, and charges began to stack up. Eventually, Brandon ended up back in custody, while investigations continued, turning an internet controversy into real consequences. Brandon's brutal story is unsettling because it did not begin with obvious danger. It began with eccentric self-expression, then slowly revealed deeper personal instability, serious accusations, and escalating fallout. It is a reminder that on TikTok, a persona can go viral in a day, but the consequences can follow someone for years, long after the trend has moved on. One breakfast video was all it took to turn a regular TikTok mom into an internet lightning rod almost overnight online. People later nicknamed her Donut Mom after a clip where she casually plated donuts and applesauce for her kids and called it a day. The video was framed like a trend, the lazy and depressed mom version of those calm breakfast routines. But the reactions were instant. Some viewers laughed, others were alarmed. Then people dug. As her views climbed, Alexandra, the woman behind the nickname, leaned into the attention. She argued that critics were just following the herd, insisting her children ate normal meals and that one donut clip was being used as a shortcut to judge her whole life. But the more she posted, the more the story shifted from one questionable breakfast to a pattern people found hard to ignore. Her page increasingly featured fast food orders, quick plates, and junks being fed to her kids. And then came the bigger concern: whether the shock value was the point. In videos, Alexandra talked about mental health, mentioning depression and other conditions, and she framed the mess as part of an ongoing struggle. That context matters, because mental health can be heavy. But viewers also noticed something else. When the content was about things she enjoyed, she seemed energized. When it was about the unglamorous parts of parenting, like routine cleaning and consistent meals, it often became a debate with the comments instead of a change behind the scenes. As people watched longer, the camera began catching details that felt less like a messy day and more like a risky environment. A fish tank that looked too small and easy to forget. Rabbits roaming freely, with poop on the floor. A dirty bathtub and a general sense that basic upkeep was always on the list but rarely completed. Alexandra would sometimes post cleaning videos, and even joked that she wished she had posted them on her main page for the payout, which only fueled the idea that controversy was being monetized. The most serious moment, though, was not about food at all. According to a local post discussed online, one cold night a young child reportedly got out of the house and was found by neighbors. That kind of incident terrifies any parent, because the list of what could have happened is endless. The public response was intense, and Alexandra's focus in the aftermath seemed split between gratitude and frustration that the situation was becoming a spectacle. In related clips, her partner, sometimes called Caveman by viewers, defended the household aggressively and blamed outsiders for twisting the narrative. Then came a new layer of allegations. Claims of harsh discipline and photos that commenters said showed concerning marks on the children. It is important to be careful here, because online leaks can be manipulated, and strangers do not have full context. But the reason this part stuck is that it matched the larger pattern people already felt they were seeing: children used as content props, criticism answered with sarcasm, and accountability treated like a personal attack. What makes this case disturbing is not just the mess, or the donuts, or the arguments. It is the way attention seemed to become the main goal, even when the content involved kids who cannot consent to being a storyline. TikTok rewards extremes. The louder the comments, the higher the reach. And in Donut Mom's world, the line between relatable chaos and unsafe chaos looked thinner every time the camera turned on. It is wild how fast a feel-good message can turn into a full-blown internet cautionary tale, especially when the algorithm starts rewarding the most confrontational version of you. Lily Tyno is a transgender woman based in San Francisco who blew up on TikTok early by sharing her transition journey. One of her earliest posts, a short set of before and after photos paired with an emotional caption, reportedly pulled millions of views in about 2 days, and the comment section was unusually supportive. Lily even posted a thank you video, sounding stunned that strangers were being kind. At first, her page looked like what you would expect from a new creator: personal updates, self-confidence content, and attempts to find what goes viral. But if you scroll forward through the story, you start to see the shift. Lily was not afraid of conflict, and she leaned into live streams where confrontation could happen in real time. A big turning point came in March of 2023, during a live stream in a restaurant. Lily was filming while eating with a small dog, when an older woman approached and started an argument about trans issues. The clip spread everywhere, partly because the encounter was chaotic, and partly because Lily stayed on camera through the whole thing. TikTok largely sided with Lily, and the viral boost pushed her account into a new tier of visibility. After that, the content became more repetitive and more intense. Lily started filming in restaurants constantly, sometimes calling herself a food critic. And the most viewed posts were not really about food. They were about being misgendered by staff, and then turning the moment into a public lesson. In multiple videos, Lily explains that being called the wrong thing feels deeply painful, then asks to speak to a manager, while workers apologize and look confused. A lot of viewers empathized with the emotional side, but others felt the approach was unfair, especially because these were busy, underpaid workers making quick human mistakes. People also noticed a pattern. Lily did not ask anyone else their pronouns, but expected everyone to get hers correct immediately. As the clips kept going viral, a backlash formed. Some people began looking for Lily in public, just to provoke reactions on camera. That made everything worse, because it reinforced the cycle of anger, tears, and more views. Then the story took an even darker turn, because attention does not just bring supporters, it brings people digging into your past. In April of 2024, screenshots circulated on other platforms claiming Lily had posted disturbing and inappropriate comments years earlier. Some were so graphic they crossed a line most people do not even want to repeat. Another screenshot showed Lily defending an offensive photo by telling people to stop being so sensitive, which was seen as hypocritical next to her own insistence that misgendering should be treated as a serious harm. The most damaging phase, though, was connected to Disney parks. Lily is a huge Disney fan, and she began posting videos at the parks that many viewers felt were completely inappropriate for the setting. Instead of keeping adult medical discussions private, she described sensitive, grown-up topics while surrounded by families. Even some people within the trans community criticized this, saying it was not helping anyone and was only creating outrage. Then, on the 2nd of June 2025, Lily uploaded a series of mirror selfies inside women's restrooms at a Disney park, ranking the bathrooms and capturing other people in the background. That is where the focus stopped being about pronouns and became about privacy. The issue was not a selfie in general. It was filming in a space where everyone expects privacy, and including strangers who did not agree to be recorded. Viewers warned Lily that this could be illegal in some places, and that Disney could take action. After the backlash, Lily posted responses framing the criticism as discrimination, arguing that women take bathroom selfies all the time. But that missed the point people were making. The outrage was about recording other guests in a restroom, not about her identity. Not long after, Lily posted a calmer video admitting that her content had become more confrontational because she felt hurt by years of hate, and she announced a break from TikTok. In the end, this case is disturbing because it shows how quickly advocacy can get warped by attention. When every conflict becomes content, the line between educating and exploiting gets blurry, and once you involve strangers in private spaces, the consequences stop being online drama and start becoming real-life fallout. Lily, who also went by names like Spider Lily and Kaliath Flower Girl, became one of those TikTok stories that started as something people wanted to believe in. Her videos showed her deep cleaning a home that looked unsafe to live in, with roaches, mold, and grime that kept returning no matter how much she scrubbed. People watched a young woman trying to create order inside chaos, and it felt like the internet could finally do something good. Donations poured in because people thought they were helping her escape an unhealthy environment and step into adulthood with a real chance. But the hopeful storyline did not last. As money came in, a much older boyfriend named Preston became part of the picture, and the internet started noticing that the results did not match the fundraising goals. At different points, Lily listed a long set of health conditions and struggles, some of which she appeared to have real experiences with, like severe anxiety and a fear of getting sick. She even explained how that fear affected school and daily life, and it made her situation feel more complicated than just a messy house. Still, the more she shared, the more viewers wondered whether the chaos was being amplified for sympathy and cash, especially because she could not monetize TikTok directly while under 18, which made donations the main fuel keeping the account running. When she turned 18, the fundraising became bigger and more frequent. Multiple GoFundMe campaigns appeared, including one to move out and another to buy a car. People donated because they assumed it would lead to stability. Instead, a major controversy erupted when viewers realized a huge chunk of donated money, tens of thousands of dollars, had gone into Preston's bank account. Lily later claimed she did not know how to set up her own account, and that Preston linked the fundraiser to his. She also admitted she only had a loose idea of how much money was there, mostly by checking the fundraiser page, not a bank balance. That explanation made some viewers feel protective, like she was being controlled, while others felt angry, like it was a convenient excuse after the money vanished. In 2024, her family's home reportedly suffered a fire, and another fundraiser raised around $60,000. Lily said the money would go to family, but then conflicting claims surfaced about who controlled withdrawals and who actually benefited. Supporters who once saw a straightforward rescue mission now saw a messy web of family arguments, rival fundraisers, and unclear accounting. By January 22nd, she mentioned opening a new bank account with help from a coworker, which felt like a breakthrough. But soon after, there were streams from hotel hallways, breakups, and staff offering her a safe place, while she insisted she was fine. There were also moments where she implied she went live for her own safety, which is not something people do in healthy relationships. By January 30th and January 31st, the relationship looked like it was ending, then unraveling, then restarting, with viewers calling the hotel out of worry. Whether it was trauma bonding, fear, dependence, or manipulation, the pattern kept repeating, and the audience was left watching a real person struggle in real time, while money and attention stayed attached to every chapter. Ash Trevino, sometimes nicknamed Inmate Hopper, built an online identity around dating men who were incarcerated, and she treated it like a revolving door of romances. At first, people thought it was pure shock value, the same way people slow down to look at a messy scene they should probably avoid. But the more clips that surfaced, the harder it became to see it as harmless drama, especially because her content often overlapped with her life as a mother, and the public arguments involving her own daughters. One of the earliest relationships she proudly broadcast involved a man named Isaiah Flaco Gonzalez. In August of 2019, she posted that she was engaged, talking about becoming a prison wife and framing the situation like a love story that would survive any obstacle. She shared photos after visits, captions about how strong their bond was, and messages about waiting for miracles. The problem was not just the cringe factor, it was the way she brought her children into it. She introduced the incarcerated man to her daughters, and referred to him as Daddy, as if that label could be handed out through a glass visitation window. For a lot of people watching, that crossed a line from reckless adult choice into parenting decisions that could confuse and hurt children. Later, Ash tried to explain how she knew him, and that explanation raised even more alarms. She said she had known him for many years through family or church circles, and then emphasized that nothing romantic happened until he was an adult. Even with that clarification, the timeline sounded unsettling to viewers because it highlighted how long he had been in her orbit. Instead of stepping back and keeping her private life private, she kept turning the controversy into content, which only amplified the suspicion and criticism. The relationship ended. By 2021, she posted about divorce and being broken down by someone who should love her. Then she admitted something that revealed a bigger pattern. She said she was still writing to other incarcerated men while married, and that the boundary was not a boundary at all. That is why people called her an inmate hopper, because it looked less like love and more like a cycle of attention, obsession, and constant replacement. Where the story becomes especially disturbing is when the prison romances stop being the main issue, and her behavior around younger men and around her daughters became the focus. Viewers accused Ash of competing with her teenage daughters for attention, speaking about younger guys in a way that felt inappropriate for a parent, and admitting to pulling her daughter's hair during heated moments on live streams. Even if someone tries to excuse that as family arguments, the bigger issue is that she normalized it publicly, like it was just messy entertainment. By Thanksgiving 2024, her online chaos and parenting concerns collided again, with live streams, public drama, and claims that authorities and child welfare reports had become routine parts of her life. Instead of treating that as a warning sign, she often spoke as if dismissed cases proved she was fine. But parenting is not measured by whether you get charged. It is measured by stability, boundaries, and putting kids first, especially when your life is being broadcast to thousands of strangers. In the end, Ash Trevino's online saga is disturbing because it shows how clout can reward the worst decisions. The more outrageous the relationship, the more attention it gets. The more attention it gets, the less incentive there is to change. And when children are in the middle of that cycle, the consequences are not just internet drama. They are real-life damage that does not turn off when the live stream ends. Years ago, a short video from Minecon circulated everywhere. It showed a nervous kid stepping up to a microphone, stumbling through a pitch for her dad's Minecraft server, and handing out business cards. It was awkward, harmless, and honestly kind of sweet. For a while, that was all the internet knew her for. Fast forward to the TikTok era, and that same person resurfaced under the name Anna, also using the handle Anaconda Sin. At first, it looked like a typical internet comeback, someone leaning into old viral fame, but the tone of her content quickly shifted into something darker. Viewers began sharing screen recordings from her lives, not because the clips were funny, but because they were disturbing. One of the most widely reposted moments came from a TikTok livestream dating-style conversation in the year 2021. In that clip, Anna made claims involving inappropriate behavior and an animal. As more people dug into her content, other clips circulated where she described things she allegedly did as a child involving pets, but it was presented as curiosity, like she wanted to see what would happen. That kind of explanation is chilling, because it tries to turn harm into a science experiment, and it invites the audience to argue instead of immediately recognizing how wrong it is. Then came another layer that pushed viewers from disturbed to alarmed. Anna also made statements implying romantic interest toward her dad. It was framed as a story, sometimes with jokes, sometimes with excuses, but it crossed a line that most people do not even joke about. Clips like that create a ripple effect because they do not just shock, they attract the wrong kind of attention, including people who enjoy taboo content for the worst reasons. When backlash grew, Anna posted an apology-style response that did not really take responsibility. The message was less, "I understand why this is wrong," and more, "People are taking my jokes seriously." That response only fueled the debate. If it was all fake, why choose topics this harmful? And if any of it was real, why treat it like a performance? This is why the case stuck. It shows how TikTok can turn a person into a character, and then turn that character into a non-stop controversy machine. The scariest part is not even whether every claim was true. It is that the internet environment made it profitable to be unclear, to keep people guessing, and to keep the most disturbing possibilities on the table so the views would not stop. What started as an ordinary family vlog slowly turned into one of the most debated parenting controversies on TikTok, not because of one shocking moment, but because viewers began noticing patterns that felt increasingly difficult to ignore. Stephanie Thompson Jenkins, known online as the face behind the Resilient Jenkins account, built her platform around documenting life with her large family. Her videos showed daily routines, parenting struggles, budgeting challenges, and motivational talks about resilience. At first, many viewers supported her openness. She spoke about gratitude, surviving hardship, and raising multiple children despite limited resources. But over time, the same transparency that attracted followers also invited scrutiny. One of the earliest viral moments came when Stephanie revealed that her family of 6, soon to become 7, was living inside a one-bedroom apartment. The video, posted in the year 2023, gained millions of views. She framed the situation as adaptability and gratitude, explaining that while outsiders saw clutter, she saw a family making sacrifices together. However, viewers raised concerns about safety and privacy, especially since the children slept in shared living areas while the adults occupied the main bedroom. Eventually, the family relocated to a motel-style shelter, compressing multiple children and adults into a single room. While many expressed sympathy, others began questioning whether social media storytelling had replaced long-term planning. The controversy escalated months later, through something unexpectedly small: washcloths. In a video posted during the year 2025, Stephanie explained she had stopped using baby wipes and instead cleaned her toddlers using reusable clothes, rinsed in the bathtub. She described it as a practical parenting solution, saying multiple daily rinses were easier than using disposable wipes. But viewers noticed details that sparked alarm. The same bathtub appeared to be used for washing dishes, and clips showed damp cloths left sitting together for extended periods. Online discussions quickly shifted from lifestyle criticism to hygiene concerns. Stephanie responded by explaining that different colored cloths serve different purposes: body washing, cleaning, and diaper changes. Yet commenters compared past videos and claimed the same towels appeared in multiple uses, creating confusion about whether separation actually existed. The debate spread across TikTok commentary pages, turning a domestic routine into a viral investigation fueled by screenshots and side-by-side comparisons. At the same time, financial contradictions added another layer to the controversy. In some live streams, Stephanie defended content creation as legitimate work, stating she likely earned more than many critics. Shortly afterward, she posted emotional videos explaining that holiday budgets were tight and that Christmas spending for the children would be limited. Viewers were not upset about budgeting itself, but about mixed messaging between financial success claims and visible hardship. Further confusion emerged when products from an Amazon wish list began arriving at their motel address. Stephanie claimed the list had not been publicly shared, and suggested someone accessed her account and sent items without permission. Skeptics questioned why a stranger would send gifts rather than misuse account information, while supporters argued that internet fame sometimes attracts unpredictable behavior. As criticism grew, brand partnerships also became complicated. A small business publicly distanced itself after learning about ongoing controversies surrounding the account. Stephanie responded emotionally, saying she had only promoted products positively and felt judged by public perception rather than direct interaction. The exchange highlighted how online reputation can directly affect income for creators whose livelihoods depend on audience trust. Throughout all of this, the most consistent theme was not a single scandal but a widening gap between intention and perception. Stephanie framed her content as raw honesty about motherhood, while critics believed the same honesty revealed questionable priorities. Each response video created new discussions, and each discussion pulled more viewers into the story. By the end of it, the resilient Jenkins situation became less about one family, and more about the risks of turning everyday parenting into continuous public content. TikTok rewards authenticity, but it also magnifies every decision, every contradiction, and every moment that might once have stayed private. In this case, a family trying to document survival found themselves instead at the center of one of the platform's most uncomfortable ongoing debates. Daniel Larson's story did not begin as a viral scandal. It began quietly, with a young man opening a TikTok account in the year 2020 and deciding to document his life without filters, boundaries, or structure. At first, viewers believed they were watching another aspiring creator chasing internet fame. What they did not realize was that they were witnessing the slow unraveling of one of the most chaotic internet figures ever created by social media itself. Daniel posted constantly. Every thought, every conflict, every personal moment was uploaded in real time. He spoke openly about medical issues, daily struggles, and his dream of becoming a famous musician and celebrity. His videos were unpredictable and often confusing, which ironically attracted attention. Viewers began sharing clips, partly out of curiosity, and partly because they could not look away. The more attention he received, the more his online identity blended with his sense of reality. Daniel experienced a difficult childhood involving instability and time spent in treatment programs for young people dealing with emotional trauma. For a period, life appeared more stable while living under the care of his grandmother, who encouraged structure and support. After her passing, however, that stability disappeared, and much of Daniel's life became inconsistent. leaving him vulnerable to influence from strangers online. As his TikTok following grew, many viewers initially encouraged him, though much of that encouragement was sarcastic or manipulative. Daniel interpreted the attention as proof he was becoming famous. He even announced political ambitions. Online trolls quickly realized how easily he trusted anyone presenting themselves as managers, record labels, or industry professionals. Fake accounts guided his actions, often convincing him to make embarrassing or harmful statements publicly. Alongside these delusions came increasingly alarming live streams. Daniel frequently recorded emotional breakdowns where he shouted at unseen threats, accused strangers of targeting him, or claimed he was under attack. During some episodes, he struck himself while filming, believing danger surrounded him. These moments drew massive audiences, turning personal crises into viral entertainment. Offline life became equally unstable. Daniel moved between housing situations, sometimes assisted by caretakers or supporters who attempted to help him maintain routine. Conflicts often followed. Arguments with caregivers were recorded and uploaded, and many relationships ended after confrontations fueled by paranoia or online influence. Eventually, periods of homelessness followed, with Daniel documenting life in public spaces, restaurants, and transit systems. His online presence also attracted controversy due to disturbing online activity and statements that sparked widespread backlash. Apologies, denials, and explanations appeared repeatedly, often contradicting each other. Rather than resolving issues, each response created new waves of attention, keeping him trapped in a cycle where controversy increased visibility, and visibility intensified instability. By the year 2022 and into 2023, Daniel's life had become a continuous loop of live streams, public disturbances, and encounters with authorities. Casinos, stores, and public venues frequently removed him after incidents tied to filming, arguments, or erratic behavior. In several cases, he documented confrontations moments after they happened, presenting his version of events directly to viewers before facts could be confirmed. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect was how the internet responded. Entire communities formed around tracking his movements, analyzing his posts, and interacting with him through fake identities. Some attempted genuine help, while others intentionally provoked reactions for entertainment. The line between audience and participant disappeared, turning Daniel's life into an ongoing interactive spectacle. Despite occasional attempts at treatment or intervention, stability never lasted long. Each period of calm was followed by another online spiral, another rumor, or another viral incident. Social media rewarded the chaos with views, comments, and donations, unintentionally reinforcing the very behavior causing harm. Daniel Larson's story stands as a complicated example of what happens when untreated personal struggles collide with algorithm-driven attention. What began as a young man sharing his life online transformed into a public case study of internet culture, where mental health, trolling, fame, and exploitation merged into a cycle that neither the creator nor the audience seemed able to stop. And those were the 10 most disturbing cases on TikTok. Stories that show how quickly entertainment can turn into something far more unsettling. What begins as harmless content, viral trends, or unusual personalities can sometimes reveal deeper issues playing out in real time, watched by millions across the world. These cases remind us that social media is not just a highlight reel. It can also become a stage where controversy, obsession, and real-life consequences unfold publicly. Behind every viral clip is a real story, and sometimes the internet notices the warning signs only after things have already gone too far. If there is one lesson from all of these cases, it is that attention online can amplify anything, both creativity and chaos. And as TikTok continues to grow, new stories will always emerge, leaving viewers to decide where curiosity ends and concern begins.